Sangeeta, some background noise is coming from your end.
No, Mr. Mohan. I'm using a microphone. No. Yeah, there is some noise which is coming in. Yeah, not from my side, because I'm using a microphone which is I think Mr. Subramanian has unmuted, or shall we start, Mr. Mohan?
Yeah, just
yeah, there is a there's a noise coming in.
Akila, can we start the recording? And previous, you can pull out our frame.
Okay.
And and Vidya can start the presentation slides so that things can be set.
Yes, sir. Hope you're able to see my screen.
Yes. Fine. Yeah. So, Sangeeta is ready?
Yes, yeah, we'll start off. Sure. Namaskar and a very pleasant good afternoon to all of you. I, on behalf of ACM Chennai, IEEE CS Madras, CSI Chennai, and DELNET Developing Library Network New Delhi, extends a very hearty welcome to all of you to today's today's webinar, which is on chatbot development for enhancing customer experience. At the very outset, we take profound privilege in welcoming our distinguished speaker of the day, Mr. Vidyasagar Machupalli, the Technical Offering Manager, IBM Cloud at IBM India in Bangalore. We extend a welcome to you, Mr. Vidyasagar, and thank you so very much for making it possible for each one of us to have you here this afternoon, and we really look forward to your presentation. We also acknowledge the presence of the members of the ACM Chennai, IEEE CS Madras, the CSI Chennai, and DELNET, who have joined us from different nooks and parts of the country to today's webinar. We would like to request Mr. P.V. Subramanian, Chair CSI Chennai Chapter, to kindly introduce our distinguished speaker, Mr. Vidyasagar Machupalli, to all our august audience. May I request you, sir, to kindly extend an introduction of Mr. Vidyasagar to all our attendees today. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, participants. It's my great pleasure to introduce the resource person for today's webinar, Mr. Vidya, enthusiast, master profile, 18+ years of industry, broad set of skills in software development and design. Currently, he is the developer advocate at IBM, involves defining cloud solutions, tutorials, and products, working closely with product teams, code samples, enabling SIs and startups at conferences, cloud, AI, DevOps, mobile. Prior to this, with Dell Technologies, IndyCorp, CDC software, and blogger and speaker at various technical meetups and events. On his personal blog on WordPress, he writes on subjects cloud to AI games that regularly contributed in platforms such as Medium, Bzone, Dev2, IBM Cloud Blog. Mr. Vidya is a constant learner and technology enthusiast, loves exploring new paradigms, programming languages, and technologies. He's and the organizer of Blue Meetup Group. Mr. Vidya has several accomplishments. Credit include D-Zone Most Valuable Blogger, Intel Software Innovator, RealSense, Dell Silver Award, Breakthrough Thinker, Microsoft Most Active Individual in the Gaming Community, Microsoft Most Valuable Professional Gaming, Xbox and Visual Studio Tools, Award and IBM Extra Mile Award, and D-Zone Core Member. Over to Mr. Vidyasagar. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for the sweet introduction, sir. I think thank you very much for everyone who has taken the time to join today's webinar. It's my privilege and honor to be presenting on chatbot development for enhancing customer experience, which will help to strengthen the consumer experience while lowering the cost and reducing risk. So there'll be a presentation where I'll be talking about what exactly we'll be looking at in next 1 hour or so, and then there will be a hands-on experience as well, where I'll be showing a demo on how exactly you can build a chatbot with the knowledge which you have acquired in today's presentation and take it forward with the next level there. So I think there was a very good introduction, sweet introduction there. So just for somebody who has joined late, my name is Vidyasagar Machupalli. I'm a technical offering manager and developer advocate for IBM. I'm a coder, speaker, and writer, and that's my website which I have designed, which I have coded myself. If you want to get more info, this is like knowing about your speaker before we start our presentation. And then a chatbot. Just think of what exactly a chatbot is. Why exactly we need chatbot, right? This is the first question which will come to our mind when we start building. Before we build a chatbot, or even before getting started on why we need a chatbot there. So customer experience today is a big battle, right? You have 78% of customers will back out of purchase due to poor customer experience. They come to your website, they look something is missing there, and they just go out, because waiting on a call center queue or a customer care queue just to get an answer is very difficult. And most of the customers are pretty much impatient. They want to get their answers as soon as possible. And 42% of agents, right, is spent researching and gathering information. So you just try to gather the information. The information is just sitting there, and you don't know how to use that data in a good way, in a nice way. And 3% of companies, right, said they are able to act on all the customer data they collect. It's just 3%. There is 97% of data which is still there, getting there, and 97% of companies, they are not able to use the data which is sitting just for no good reason. And we have all experienced this frustration, right? It can be on your bank website, it can be an e-commerce website, or anywhere, right? You can't be sitting there hitting a phone number and waiting somebody to reply on the other side of the call. And similarly, there is other experience. You go to a bank, you want to get some info, you need to stand in a queue. And in the current COVID situation, right, standing in a queue isn't possible, because we have to maintain so-called social distancing. So you want to strengthen this customer experience with AI, right? Where also you want to lower the cost and reduce the risk. How do you do that? So one of the solutions, right? There are many solutions from other cloud providers as well. But as I have been working for IBM for almost 5 years now, more than 5 years now. So I am pretty much maybe I should say confident about IBM Watson, and how IBM Watson, right, as an AI solution, will address all the three issues, like your customer self-service, your agent assist, and also the contact center insights. How do you do this? So there comes Watson Assistant to the rescue. Watson Assistant is an IBM Cloud AI solution which is pre-configured, where you can just create the service on IBM Cloud and you can just get started. So there will be a very good demo on how exactly you create a cloud service and what exactly you'll be doing as a step-by-step process to achieve what you need today. This can be as simple as building a chatbot for ordering a pizza online, or it can be the use case which I'll be showing, being a librarian, right? How can you build a chatbot for your readers, people who come to your library, who are already members with the library, how to give them membership. So there are a couple of things which you can pretty much achieve with the chatbot. So, what is Watson Assistant? What are the ways to interact with this? So, you are a user on the leftmost corner, and there are various mediums to achieve this. It can be through telephone, it can be through your laptop or desktop, it can be mobile. There are other ways like chat applications like Slack. You have Facebook Messenger. We use WhatsApp every given day, day in and day out, to chat with our friends. There are multiple channels which are coming in, and then you have data sitting in. You have some orchestration callouts. You have a conversation infrastructure which is provided by the cloud vendor. Then you have smart routing decisions also which you need to take, where Watson, IBM Watson comes into picture. And post that, you need to use this data somewhere, right? You have built everything out. You want to use this with an existing call center. It can be a website, or you want to show a human agent as well. So most of the times, right, these chatbots, either they give the answer or hand it over to a human agent who will hop in and get started. So there are a couple of websites. For example, if you log into any uh, hospital or medical website, right, the first thing which comes up is um, they some chatbot says hi to you, and once they have it, they hand it over to a human agent saying the so and so person will take care of your question and answers going forward. So you can do that well as well. Along with that, there are other integrations as well. You can bring in your existing content to the chatbot. You can also integrate with websites like WordPress, your own website, and all that to integrate the chatbot as well. So this is an end-to-end flow where, as a user, you're building a chatbot, and then as an end user, you're giving the chatbot to somebody to use it. Right? It can be your own end user in a library, or it can be a person for a bank as well. So it's a common use case there. So I'm just trying to put the before chat in a simple way, how the conversational AI, right, which fuels the smart customer experience. Uh, how do you get the customer talk through multiple channels, be it mobile, laptop, or email, and all that, and how exactly Watson, right, will help. Watson Assistant will help you to accelerate the value for your time and also reduce your costs. And then this everything happens through a secured, resilient, and it protects your data privacy anywhere. So security is one big thing, big concern, right, when you are building a chatbot, be it for a bank or an e-commerce application, or there can be sensitive data on your end as well. So let's start with demo, because I'll pass the presentation here and let's hit the demo, because it's all about building the chatbot. So the first thing you do is you go to cloud.ibm.com. This is a website here. I'll open this in a different browser because I have already logged in. So the first thing we do is we go to cloud.ibm.com. It asks you to log in if you already have a login, or you hit something called create an account. So the good side is you have an email ID like Gmail or anything. You can just provide your Gmail ID. You enter your password and then you verify the email ID. It will ask a couple of personal information questions. Few are mandatory and few are not mandatory. And post that, you don't even have to provide a credit card. Most of the cloud vendors, they ask for your credit card for billing, but there is no credit card required, because there are, out of 190 plus IBM cloud services, there are 40 plus cloud services which are pretty much free. So for the first time, if you're hearing the word cloud, it's pretty much simple. I'll just give a one liner just to make you understand what exactly cloud is. Cloud is a server which you don't maintain. Think that it's a CPU. If you are using computers from like 10 or 15 years ago, there is something called a CPU, right, which sits next to your monitor. You will have storage, you will have RAM, you have all the processing power on that. You don't have to have that sitting next to you. So there is some vendor who provides you all this RAM, memory, and a couple of artificial intelligence AI services for you to just consume at any cost. And what happens is, post there are number of users, as the number of users increase, right, you may have to add more servers to an existing thing, which we call it as scaling. That is also taken care when you use a cloud. So cloud is your server maintained by somebody else. They are giving space, they are maintaining it for you. All you have to do is just use it and pay as you go and pay as you use. It's as simple as that. Sorry. So think that you have already created an IBM cloud account, going to cloud.ibm.com. You have everything verified. You have 350 unique products to now play with. So I'm already logged in once you have your information. And the first thing you do is on the top, right, you hit something called catalog. Catalog, these are couple of services, free services for you to use. Watson Assistant, which is the chatbot builder for you, is basically an AI or a machine learning service. AI or machine learning service is basically a computer that learns from your data. So machine learning is as simple as that. You provide data and you give access to a computer. It will start learning on its own based on the data which you have provided. That's the simple part. And if you see, there are a couple of other services which are mostly free. If you see Light, that means it's a free data with some limitations, right? Of all these services, we need a service called Watson Assistant. So you just click Watson Assistant and you select a location, right? Where exactly I want to host this particular cloud service. I want to just consume this service. I want to build a chatbot of my own. Please provision this in a particular region, right? You can choose a region which is closer to you. It can be Seoul, Sydney, Tokyo. There are many other Indian regions also which will be added in future. There is regions in Europe, Frankfurt. You have London. Yeah, then you have Dallas and Washington. But it will be all the same. You can just choose Dallas, US South. And as I said, right, every cloud service based on your use case will have some limitations. If you go to a light plan, these are the features which include the information regarding the limitations as well. There are up to 1,000 unique monthly active users which can chat with your assistant. It's a limitation. There are 10,000 messages per month. So number of messages whomever enters a chatbot, right? There is a limitation there. And you can only create 5 skills. We'll talk about what are skills. And there is analytics as well. Analytics is something, how many users are using your chatbot, from which region they are, what are the questions they have asked, right? Because this will help you to enhance your chatbot or improve your chatbot quality, right? So this analytics will be sitting there only for 7 days. There is session inactivity, which are these terms will see in the demo going forward. And there is a trial. Next is the trial version, which has a 30-day trial period. You have only 50,000 messages. It's only for 30 days. And post that, there are paid plans as well, like Plus, Enterprise, and Enterprise with data isolation, where you won't be having running this service on a shared box. You'll have your own box. So once you select, maybe we'll just start with a light plan. Now, once you select that, you just create a service name. We'll ignore the other parts like the resource group tags. This is like the management thing if you are building it, but we'll just give a name and click create, right? As simple as that. So post that, once I create, the service is provision, and the first page which you see is the landing page. This is basically your Watson service. The plan is light plan. Just in case if the usage have used, there are more users coming to your chatbot, or you want to add more and more features to your chatbot, you want to use more features, then you can just hit the upgrade button and you change your plan any given time. You can choose the plan and just save it. No data will be lost, right? Whatever the data which is sitting in the live plan will still be there. And you can see your limit as well, the number of API calls which you are making. Anybody says hi is one API call there. Then under manage, you click something called launch Watson Assistant. As soon as you click launch Watson Assistant, this is where you're trying to build the chatbot, right? I'll take a pause for a second. I want to just recap it quickly. If somebody has joined late or if I'm going too fast, what we have discussed till now is why do we need chatbot? The first and quick answer will be you don't want your customers to be waiting to get their answers. You will have an FAQ, frequently asked questions on your website that may not be answering all the questions. So you need an AI system which can give answers based on the human questions, right? And also there are other chatbots which can hand it over to a human agent as well. In case if a librarian is available to answer a question, the chatbot will immediately hand it over to the librarian. So that can be possible as well. And then we move to a couple of solutions available. Every cloud vendor, there is a solution to build a chatbot. And one of the cloud vendor is IBM Cloud, which provides you Watson Assistant, which has been there under development for almost 15 years now, which has skill information from various domains as well. You'll see that when we are building something called intents. Excuse me. So, and post that, we spoke about what are the channels you can talk to this chatbot with. It can be from your mobile, it can be an email, it can be WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, it can be Slack. The integration is endless. Post you have these messages coming from these sources, you build a chatbot in the middle which will answer the question. And this chatbot can be integrated with your existing website. It can be your own college library website. It can be an community library website. You can integrate to that. You can also add this to your mobile apps as well. So even the end thing is endless. You can integrate it with any of the mediums which you want to talk to. Then we came to something called IBM Cloud. IBM Cloud, you can think of this as a repository of services which are available there. All you have to do is create a free account, which if you want to go to a paid account in future, you can do that. And once you have this free account created, you create something called Watson Assistant Service under AI. Post you have created the service, you have hit something called Launch Assistant. So this is your first page, which you will see. So what we do is we say something called, we create an assistant. If you have any question when you are on the screen, there is always an information saying an assistant helps you, your customers, right, complete tasks and get information faster. It may clarify requests, search for answers from a knowledge base, and can also direct your customer to a human if needed. So the other part which I haven't spoken about is there may be a database or there may be a source where you already have data. This can be an existing database, or it can be a simple CSV file, or it can be a text file with all the info. You can upload these files, right? Or you can talk to these files through Watson Assistant as well. So that's one way where you can take the database knowledge base and help you to answer the question. So what will we do is I'll just create assistant. Just say librarian. That's my assistant. Or I'll make it interesting. Let's call it as a libbot. That's my assistant. So as soon as you come here, there are three options available. First one is an action. There can be repetitive questions which will be coming for your chatbot, like library working hours, when is your library open, which days it is open, how can I get a membership. This can be the other questions as well. How can I get the membership there? How to come to your library, what is there out there, what kind of books you offer, how if some book is already with a person, right, how can I request or add it to a queue? These are kind of repetitive questions which you want to build. So this is where you build something called an action. Action is something like, I want to pay my membership, I want to renew my membership. This is a repetitive task, right? This is where the action comes in. Second thing is dialogue, right? Where you have a knowledge of building a chatbot, you know something called intents, entities, and you know how to build a dialogue, right? You can use something like an add dialogue skill. This is a bit advanced, which you can just start building on your own. I'll show each one of them. And then there is something called search. Search is where I have a couple of other external data sources. Maybe there is an FAQ on a website. I just want to use that data here. You can do that as well. You already have a website, you have an FAQ section. I just want to use that section with my chatbot. You can just create a web crawler. There is one more service called Watson Discovery Service, which does the web crawling, pull all the FAQs from that particular website, and create a knowledge base for you. So that's where search will come into picture. Don't get confused. It's pretty simple. If you want to just start with the very basic questions, start with action. So add an action. I'm just creating an action. There is already an existing action which I created, but I can create a new skill as well. Different terminology. An assistant will help you to collect or create multiple skills. Each skill will try to answer a couple of questions, right? It's a knowledge base of questions, right? For example, I'll just start with something called librarian action. Or you can also help with the names like account application, or I can just say daily tasks. I feel librarian. I'll just change this name just to be sure that what kind of action. So also you can choose a couple of languages. We are trying to bring in other languages as well. You can request it, or there are few languages which are already available. So Indian languages, we are trying to add them. It's work in progress on that end. So we just create an action skill, and once that is done, we click on it and we'll start adding actions to it. So we'll create a new skill. What are so let's talk about, we will change this as something called working hours. This is a repetitive question, right? Most of the times people will be asking, this is a repetitive task which will always be available there. So what are the working hours, right? That's one question. You can say office hours, information. When is the library open? There are a couple of questions. You are just training the chatbot by providing a couple of questions, right? So you can enter as many phrases as you want. And the next step is where your chatbot, your assistant, says, hi, we are open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. from Monday to Friday. And also, if you want to provide more info, for more information, visit, you link to your library. I'm just putting a random thing here, but you can put a link to your website, right? And based on customer experience, you can add options as well. For example, if you want to help the customer to provide what kind of questions, right? What kind of questions your chatbot will answer, we can put that options. Books to read, right? This will be the getting started thing. Maybe we'll come to that point. And then we'll say whether it needs to continue to the next step, where we add one more step to provide more info, right? For more information, you can also call us at, provide a number, a random number here, and then you can end the action. So these are the two things it will provide. So this is one part. There are things which will come pretty much earlier as well. We forgot the most important thing, which is greeting the customer, right? We need to greet the customer. So I'll just save this. If you're thinking I haven't created a greet the customer thing, it's by default available as a system action. So the greet customer is already added as an action, which says hello. As we call this as a libbot, I can say hello, I'm libbot. How can I assist you, right? So once they are here, we need to add a kind of personalization thing. We can just provide an option saying that what all your chatbot can help. Because some chatbots are limited, and sometimes the user may not know what kind of questions they can ask. So I can say you can read books online, right? We will provide you with your membership info, right? Um, books to read. We'll also suggest books to read. Maybe the first question can be your membership. How to get a membership? Maybe how to get a membership. Some basic questions, and then we apply it. So within 2 minutes of where we started, I was able to build a chatbot. If you want to see the preview of it, just hit save here and hit something called preview. So what it does is we are training the chatbot. Your changes are being added. So once this is added, the training completes. You can just start asking questions, whatever you have. Just in case, as it's getting trained, if you want to add more questions, right, there is only a couple of things, because greeting is one thing. Once you're done with the greeting, you can just refresh it. So as you refresh it, you already see welcome, I'm libbot, how can I assist? So how to get membership, anybody can click it, and once we add a membership action, right, it will be taken to them. So also you can say membership info and book to read. But currently I want to know what are the working hours, right? I can just, as a customer, I'm just trying to talk to your libbot, the library bot. What are the working hours, right? I just say this question. So it's still training. So once the training is done, it should be able to hit that particular action where we are trying to ask the question about the working hours, right? So this is your action skill, right? But you are an advanced user. You have played with creating multiple chatbots. You know few important things. We can always come back to this once it is trained. It will take some time to train. You can create something called a dialogue chatbot. Dialogue chatbot is a bit advanced. Uh, this is a pretty interesting thing. You create something called dialogue skill, just a name for your application, for the libbot. For the same libbot assistant, I am trying to create a dialogue skill. You can also use a sample skill if you are not aware. If you are playing with the Watson assistant for the first time, you don't know how to create intents, entities, and all that. You have something called use sample skill. Or if you already have an upload, if you JSON file, right? If you're from the developer front, you know what is a JSON file. You have already built with a previous customer. You want to just migrate that to IBM Cloud Assistant. You can do that as well. But I'll just create a dialog flow, right? For the libbot. Maybe I'm going too fast or putting too much info. You can always go through the documentation. IBM Assistant has a pretty good documentation. You can just search for Watson Assistant docs through the search, where it will take you to the getting started thing. Or the best way to get to the docs is from your service page. You go to actions, you can see view docs, which will take you to the documentation. This is step-by-step instructions, right? Whatever I'm speaking now is already documented for you. As a beginner, you can just go to this documentation. You just have to choose which one to say. Action skills, as I said, are repetitive tasks which you don't want to create again and again. Dialogue skill is basically it uses something like natural language processing and machine learning technology, so it's a bit advanced. So you can get both the info. There is also demos available. For example, there is a banking assistant demo, which is pre-built, which will show you what exactly you can achieve with Watson Assistant. So this demo, you can play with it. There are a couple of questions which will come up, and you can just answer it just to get an just an experience of what exactly a chatbot is. So there is a bank bot there. So coming back, I have just created a dialogue thing. This is advanced. So I click on it. On the left, you see a couple of things. Intents, if you compare this with an English grammar, is like your verbs. What exactly is your intent? What exactly you're trying to ask the questions with, right? It's a collection, right? An intent is a collection of user statements that have the same meaning, right? They carry the same meaning. What is your intention behind this? So uh, you'll always have an example, right? If you see working hours, which we created, I know actions already has a working hours, but I'm just asking what is working hours. Or personalization is very much important when you build chatbots. When you address a person with their name, the customer will be much more happier, right? There can be lakhs and crores of names. Every name is different. So let's create something called an intent called finding a name. And let's say create name, right? Oh, so here you have to have at least 5 unique examples, which will help Watson to understand. So people, they may answer, say, hi, I am Sagar. One example. Hey there, I am Chitra. Hola, I am Joseph. Good morning, I am Kumar. 5 minimum examples. This is a couple of things, just random things I'm just trying to add. And you may ask a question like, how exactly my Watson assistant will know there is a name here? Because there are names in um, different places here. So there is something called annotate entities. You just toggle that, you just toggle the button and you say, I want to annotate this. So I can just hit here and I can just say that this is my entity. Entities are basically nouns, right? Intent is like your verbs. Entities are basically nouns. So I created a new entity and I'm choosing which are the name is. So basically, I'm trying to train my chatbot saying these are names. I gave only 5 examples. So if a new name comes in, my chatbot will know this automatically. Also, I'll show you how exactly we'll use this, right? When we try to build a dialogue. So I have built an intent called find name. So my intention is to finding a name when somebody introduce themselves to the chatbot. And for good reasons, right? If you don't understand how exactly the intents can be, there is something called intent recommendations as well. So this comes with the plus plan. If you want to upgrade to the plus plan, you can do that. And also you can bring in any other recommendation systems as well. For example, you already have a chatbot built with other cloud. You can bring those data as well for you to train the chatbot. Also, you don't know how to build a chatbots or if it's taking so much time to build a chatbot, there is something called content catalog. This is where there are pre-trained intents available. For banking, there'll be a couple of questions, or it can be a general intent as well. Couple of questions. What's your name? Where are you from? Where was you born? There are 17 more examples here. You can just greet your customer the way we were talking about greeting a customer, right? Hello, I am looking for some help, all that. This is a grouping of greetings here and all that. There are other utilities. If you have telco, based on your domain, right, there is already one. For example, there are COVID-19 situation. There are a couple of questions on COVID-19 as well. If you want to add those questions as well, you can just add this intent and automatically those things will be answered for you. So for now, I'll just add a general thing which will have a greeting as well. So 10 intents have been already added to my intent list. So I added only fine name, and there are a couple of other intents as well added to it. So some people are pretty very funny, and they may also ask your chatbot to tell a joke. So that's also added here. Somebody wants to check whether they are talking to a human or a bot. There are people who do that. So there is that available as part of the general thing as well. Intent, as I mentioned, is a noun, right? Basically, let's create one intent for you. For example, library is a noun, and I want to add this intent, and I add library. If you don't have any idea on the synonyms, there is something called recommend synonyms. It will find synonyms for library. It will add the plural. The people call it sometimes museum, archives, repository. Librarian is a word they use. Gallery. I can select a couple of them and just add them as my synonyms for this word, library. And there is something called fuzz matching. Will ability to Watson to recognize misspelled entities as well. So the spell check is also available as part of your Watson assistant here. So I'll just keep these changes. I'll save them and then go back. You can just click add value to save it and just go back. So there are also system entities. Somebody may be asking a question which has something called time. Maybe somebody says, is the library open at 10 a.m. on this particular day? So for your chatbot to understand they're talking about time, there are system entities as well. Some of them may ask a question like, is your library open on a Sunday, right? They are talking about a date. Or is library open on a festival day, right, in Indian time? Then you can also add this as an entity for your chatbot to understand. And then you have, they talk about currency. If they are paying in rupees, right? What is the fees? I see 1,000 rupees on your website. Is it is there any student discount and all that? You can add that as well. There are a couple of other entities which we may not be adding now, but you can always come back and add this. Before going to dialogue, I want to talk about other things which your assistant provides. Webhook is basically talking to an external data source. It can be a data source like FAQs from other websites. It can be other external databases where you have already stored your data. You have existing data you want to bring it to your thing. Autocorrection is basically spelling mistakes and all that. Most of the people, while typing from their mobile, they always make mistakes, right? This is also taken care of. Sometimes there can be an irrelevant topic which people may be asking. There is already something called node, a node called anything else. We'll handle that. There is irrelevance detection, which can help you to enhance your chatbot experience as well. Intent detection, as we created an intent like find name, right? We'll understand what exactly this is when we are trying to build the dialogue. So, dialogue, you remember action skill, which we created for working hours. This is similar to that, but it's a flow. It's a tree, right? As soon as somebody comes to your chatbot, the first thing they see is welcome note, right? As soon as they hit the chatbot, this is what they see. You can immediately start testing your chatbot by hitting something called try it. Hello, how can I help? Right? This is the first question it asks. The same thing which we did with the libbot action, I can override the action with something like, hello, this is libbot. What should I call you. Remember, we were trying to find the name, right? So this is the first thing it will ask. So what we need to do is we need to wait for the response from the customer coming in. So what we do is we add something called slots. This will help you to get more information in a single question. For example, you have a welcome note and then you are saying, why are you here? What kind of information you want? You want to read a book? You want to renew your membership? You want membership info? You can ask a couple of questions in one particular node in one go and get all the information which you want. I'm just putting this slot because I want to store the name of a person, right? So I'll see that if I have seen a name, right, I'll save that as name. If I don't see the name, you'll understand why I'm doing this. Please provide your name. So slot is something where I want to get their name first and then start answering every question with their name, right? So now I clear it. It starts asking the first question itself. Rather than that, we'll say that, hello, what should I call you here? Okay, now I clear it. So it says, what should I call you, right? Hey there, I am Vidyasagar. So if you see, right, it found the name here. And as soon as it saw that, but we are not able to save that here. So what we need to do is, as soon as we say hello Vidyasagar and then do that. So I should say that, hey there, this is Vidyasagar. It still says hello because it's coming here. I save my name here, right? Maybe we should say, how can I help here, right? And just say, hello Vidyasagar, how can I help you, right? We start the message. You can call me Vidyasagar. And if you see, right, now it has personalized. It says, hello Vidyasagar, how can I help you? So in a simple 2 lines, we were able to address the customer information and we can just help them with that. Let me create one node. These are the nodes which automatically comes in. Just for your information, right? Uh, there are chatbots which work only in a certain time, right? They work only in the nights. Maybe there is a librarian available from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and your chatbot should be working after 5 p.m. till next day 9 a.m. Right? We can do that as well. There is a condition where I look for sys dot date, right? As I said, you can always look for information. System entities. The reason I'm doing is I want you to find the information. Watson assistant. So as soon as you see something called system entities, it talks about using the system entity, right? How exactly you can use system entity. I want to, they look something like a date, right? As soon as I see time of a day, right? Time of a day where the chatbot should be working after 5 p.m. in the evening till next day 9 a.m. until unless the librarian comes back and they are available there. So I have to look into something called time and look for something called R. So I'm going back to my chatbot and say R greater than 17. It's like the 24-hour time frame plus, right, R if I think it's time. Yeah, time. So the entity will be time here time.r is less than 9 o'clock in the morning. So, hi, I'm just trying to answer. And also you can see there are a couple of options. You can put a text as an option. You can provide multiple options. Like if you want to have answer A, B, C, and D, you can put that. You can pause for a while until unless you get the info from an external database. You can add an image, or you can connect to a human agent as well. And search skill, as I'll talk about, we'll be talking to an external agent as well. So I'll quickly add this and then we'll move to the next important thing. I'll say hi. I'll just add the name again. You remember, I've saved the name because the name is available in something called context, right? This is like personalization, which we are giving to the human, right? Giving a human touch. Hi, name. The librarian is available only from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And they already know that you are a chatbot, right? So this is here. I can just immediately save that, clear the context. Hello, this is Libbot. What should I call you? You can call me Steve. It wasn't able to find. So here you can train it, right? You can just say, this is something like finding the name. It will find the name. So it didn't respond back. The reason is the chatbot is not, it's not 5 p.m. I can just say that it's 15, right? Just for the testing purpose. So I clear this. Hi there. This is Rajesh. So it found the name. Hello, Rajesh. How can I help? The chatbot is still training. What are the working hours? So it says that hi, library. Hi, Rajesh. The librarian is available only from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And that's it. You can start building the chatbot. So this is an advanced one where you start building the chatbot. Last but not least, I'll just add a greeting just to make you understand how to use general available intents, right? Greeting, if somebody says hi and hello, you just respond saying, hello, this is chatbot, right? Something like this. So if somebody says hi and hello, you're already building the chatbot, you can train it right here. Just in the interest of time, I have already built a chatbot because I have shown you the basic steps, what is a assistant, what is a skill and all that. In the interest of time, I already built an action skill. This has everything. You can repetitively, if you want to, if somebody says hi and hello without going forward, rather than building an advanced dialogue, you can start with something like hi, goodbye. If somebody is, you have helped with an answer and they are happy, you can always say goodbye and go forward. And if you want to just, if somebody is asking for the membership info, you can always use this. This is already built in, and there are other info as well, which you can find in the documentation. And dialogue, I have built an advanced dialogue like find name, membership, and work hours. You can add a couple of entities, and then there is an advanced dialogue as well where you can try it. Call me Kumar. Find Kumar. It says it's already routing it to a librarian friend. How did I do that? Here, instead of putting a text, selecting a text here, I can always say connect to a human agent. Automatically, it will connect to an human agent. Or if you already have another integrations, right, like Gendesks or Salesforce or any other external integrations, you can always use that so that the call will be handed over to an human agent. How do you talk from your dialogue node to an action node? your chatbot should be able to do that using context. Uh, Agent always have the problem to struggle your answers. They have very few limitations as well. And also always you can get insights on how exactly the complaints are coming in on all that. And connecting the dots is always a challenge if you are using a customer care or a librarian who is always answering these questions. This is Watson Assistant Plans. As I said, the light plan is for small developers, hobbies like us, or somebody wants to do a trial run, build their own chatbot, a simple chatbot. This is for them, the light plan. Plus, as I said, if you want to use an external data source, an external database, you have to go the multi-tenant one. A single tenant and on-prem is basically for enterprises who has large number of data which is coming in, or they want to have their own separate box in a data center. Right? These are the multiple assistant plans available for you. Just a quick recap. You can have a secure login. You can visualize your customization. You can change all that. You can do that. Basically, if your chatbot doesn't understand, if somebody says I am traveling, it's a very vague thing, right? What exactly they are looking at. Similarly, if somebody says I want to read a book, that can be anything. They can read a fiction book. They are into science. Enable a slot, ask multiple questions so that your chatbot understands the intention of the user and can provide more and more helpful tips. Slots is basically you want to collect more and more information from the user. In a week, if they say in a week, right? In a week, I want to renew my membership. You want to ask them which day it is, right? And also help them with how can they do the membership renewal through a website or a human, right? You ask more and more questions like how can I help you with whether you want to do it online or you want to come in person and do it, right? Webhooks, it's like talking to an external system, or it can be online, or you want to come in person and do it, right? Webhooks, it's like talking to an external system, or it can be your own internal system, and then interact with that. Search skill, as I mentioned, if you want to use your existing content, if you have an FAQs page and just want to add it, a search skill, and that will help you to understand. So I have seen a couple of library FAQ pages from multiple universities. You can just use those links and build your own database of Q&A. If you don't have an idea of how to build a chatbot, you can use a search skill which is available with a plus plan. It's already available. A human is available from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. to answer, or 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the morning, and from 2 p.m. Right, there can be a lunch in the middle. And if you want the chatbot to help the user, right, after 2 p.m. to answer the question, you can do this rerouting as well. Analytics, I didn't cover much, but this is basically how many conversations people had, average number of conversations per minute. Or how many conversation people are asking, you can always minimize that. And also you can, based on the data coming in, you can always improvise your chatbot and enhance your chatbot. Intent recommendation, if you don't have an understanding on what intents you want to use it, this you can always use. So in a way that can talk to an for users to use it. So three ways. One is your CSV file. Second is if you have an existing database that can be integrated, or if you have an existing database which is exposed as an API, application programming interface, that can also be used.
Okay. Are there any liabilities associated, like, you express some problem and then, based or, you can try this and things like that. So by doing so, you get into some other problem.
Right.
So that what happens to that liability? Suppose that the chatbot has recommended this solution. But I did this, and then I got into problem.
Right.
So what happens in terms of legal liability?
Right. The recommendation is to any customer who is trying to build chatbot is put what exactly you need to plan. Right. Not all the questions can get into a chatbot. There are few questions where chatbot can hand it over to a human agent. For example, if you use an app like 1mg or Form Easy to a few questions like your where exactly your package is, you can track your packages, right?
Yes. There,
Yes.
and then the chat box. How do they really differ?
I think in the presentation is as well, there is a solution tutorial which I'm part of the team. We wrote something called Android chatbot, right? If you see the chatbot which I have built, there are like multiple options as well. First thing the chatbot says is check your status or renew your membership, right? It gives a couple of buttons. So you can click on the user if he doesn't know what question to ask, they can click on it and then they can answer. Or As you type in a message on your mobile, there is a message chat window as well, a box, a text box, where you can alphabetical keyboard will come in, and you can enter that as well. Most of the chatbots, for example, if you order a pizza, will already have defined one. Whether you need a 5-inch pizza or 6-inch pizza, what kind of toppings you need. We have these kind of toppings like capsicum, onion, and all that. This is all buttons. You can click on it, or you can type on it as well. Or as I showed you, you can integrate speech to text as well, where you do hit a button the way you talk to Google Assistant or Siri, give your input as a speech as well, voice.
So basically, I think the kiosk, there is hardware investment in terms of any hardware required and things like that.
Yes,
So
generally I have seen people using tablets, most of iPads or Android.
Okay.
So they just invest Android chatbot, right? Yeah. This runs on an Android application. You can also go through the steps and build it, run it on your own Android device as a kiosk.
Okay. Thank you. Excellent presentation once again. On behalf of CM, CSI, Computer Science. So, for your time in this session, basically, seeing is effort. And before we formally close our session, I just want to make few answers about our forthcoming presentation on combating. No, it is by Dr. Vidya, Chennai, and who has been the chief architect for the IIT Madras Research Pathology helps in medical profession. So that is the no-code app development. Basically, app development has become codeless. Without any code, you don't have to know any code. You can still develop code in developing application software. And then on 24th, we have a program on demystifying cryptography. The announcements for these programs have already been circulated, and please do register and then participate in them. So, Vidya, once again, our sincere thanks for the.
Thank you.
Excellent presentation. Something related to the thing. Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity, and also I should thank Sivaraj for introducing me to IEEE. I think he has attended a couple of my sessions. Definitely very much happy to interact with the members, and thanks for the opportunity. Always here to help. You can reach out to me through any social channels if you have any questions. Always happy to help.
And also thanks to Dr. Sangeeta, Director DELNET, for making this program reach more librarians, and then definitely we look forward to working with DELNET in some of the future programs, Dr. Sangeeta.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Mohan. Thank you for making it possible for us, to be a part and partner in this program. And really, we look forward to. And many thanks, to Mr. Vidyasagar. And we are definitely, you're going to get an email from me in yet another half an hour's time, because DELNET may like to, start off. So they'll be ready enough, because you're going to get many more people to approach you from the library fraternity, definitely. And we are going to make a beginning in yet another maximum half an hour's time. That's on the top agenda now. Yeah.
Sure. Would love to.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Indeed, grateful, much grateful. We all are to you. Thank you so much. Thanks. So with this, we have closed today's webinar, and we are once again would like to convey our grateful thanks to the presenter, Mr. Vidyasagar, and also to all our collaborators, Mr. H.R. Mohan, Dr. P. Sakthivel, Mr. P.V. Subramanian, and each one of you for making it possible for us to have this particular webinar in such a very participative. You all have been, there have been lot many questions being asked as Mr. Mohan was coordinating that. So thank you very much, Mr. Mohan. You are the one, who is really making it a kind of an effort, and doing so many programs. We are indeed much impressed with that, and continuously doing it every week. You are holding the program, so we really look forward to joining hands again in some of the future webinar events. Thank you, one and all. With this, we close this today's webinar. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.